The ATF is up to their old tricks again, this time going after a common gun modification that they approved of, and here's how it could affect you. Today, we're going to take a look at what we've uncovered at the ATF, and how a rogue agent is attempting to change the rules on pin and welding your barrels. Hi, I'm Ben, and you're watching the Minuteman Moment. But before we get into the video, I wanted to take a second to let you know about GOA's annual convention, Goals. The Gun Owners Advocacy and Leadership Summit is set to be held August 9th and 10th of this year in Knoxville, Tennessee. Come out and visit with some of your favorite manufacturers, participate in activism training, and hear from the top voices in the Second Amendment community. The best part? It's free for GOA members. So sign up today using the link in the description. Okay, now back to the video. Okay, so what is the ATF up to this time? Well, thanks to documents uncovered by a FOIA from GOA, it seems that ATF has now decided some unique standards for a common firearms modification known as a pin and weld. For those of you who aren't in the know, a pin and weld is used to permanently attach something to the end of a barrel, oftentimes to meet National Firearms Act requirements. Because the NFA regulates rifles with barrel lengths under 16 inches, gunsmiths will pin and weld muzzle devices to the end of the barrels, therefore making the barrels comply with the NFA's requirement of 16 inches. The process involves drilling a pinhole through the barrel attachment and a short distance into the barrel. A pin is then driven into the hole and welded in place. This allows for gun owners to own rifles with barrel lengths of around 14.5 inches and sometimes even shorter without needing to fill out National Firearms Act registration forms and paying the $200 tax requirement. Here's the thing, this isn't some legal loophole. It's something that's been directly approved of by the ATF and is one of the most in-demand modifications for gunsmiths around the country. In fact, in 2006, the ATF sent a letter to Mr. Lynn Lasky of Arkansas confirming that, as the ATF refers to it, blind pinning is an ATF-approved method to, quote, remove the firearm from the purview of the National Firearms Act. Well, this no longer seems to be the case thanks to one particularly determined ATF agent at the Firearms Technology Information Services Branch, or FTISB. According to documents obtained by GOA, the ATF sent a letter to Amchar Wholesale about their request to import a Beretta handgun. In an attempt to comply with the ATF sporting purposes test for the importation of firearms, Amchar pin and welded a barrel extension onto the handgun. Here's how the ATF described it. As received, the submitted sample was equipped with a barrel extension which consisted of a hollow metal tube approximately 1 inch in diameter and approximately 6 inches long, which was internally threaded on one end to permit acceptance of the threaded barrel. The extension appears to have been affixed utilizing a blind welded pin, which has been inserted in an effort to permanently attach the extension of the barrel. So there we have ATF admitting that the pin and weld method was used. But what comes next is completely unheard of. Prior to conducting the evaluation, FTISB personnel inserted the barrel extension into a bench-mounted vise, and by gripping the pistol grip and rotating the pistol in an alternating clockwise, counterclockwise manner, were able to get the barrel to unscrew from the barrel extension in less than 60 seconds. The ATF then goes on to say that because they broke the barrel extension off the handgun, the extension wasn't permanently attached, and therefore the handgun was not recognized as being suitable for sporting purposes and was denied import. Anyone else seeing the problem with this? First off, there's no requirement for the attachment to be permanently affixed, only that blind pin and welding would be, quote, very difficult to remove. Any grown man, or woman for that matter, cranking on likely any pin and welded firearm in a vise might well just break the pin, as evidenced here in ATF's own experiment. This obviously poses a few questions. Will all pin and weld firearms be subject to the same level of scrutiny? It's likely that hundreds of thousands, if not millions of gun owners are relying on this method of compliance within current law. Will their firearms also be subject to this vice torture test if they have a run-in with the ATF? These are all questions that GOA is now working on the answer to. But, to that end, we did notice something else about this letter. At the bottom of the letter, it's signed by one Eve E. Eisenbise. Now, where have we heard that name before? Oh yeah, Eisenbise is the same person that couldn't determine if a water bottle was a firearm. We did a video on that topic nearly 3 years ago. Eisenbise was willing to contradict previous ATF guidance in an attempt to go after Polymer 80. And that's not all. Eisenbise also classified a maximum defense cheek arrest as a stalk, causing a gun owner to be charged with NFA violations for illegal possession of an SBR. Finally, to top it all off, Eisenbise testified in court that pillows and even potatoes could be used as suppressors. Eve E. Eisenbise is exactly who anti-gun tyrants want working at the ATF. Someone who will bend the law and jail gun owners whenever possible. First, the admin axed ATF Chief Counsel Pamela Hicks and replaced her with a pro-gun legal scholar, Robert Leader, from George Mason University. Now that's great. Then, they fired Deputy Director Richardson, who masterminded the pistol brace ban and won medals for his work during the Waco siege. Also great. We must push for the removal of anti-gun bureaucrats like these. Especially in the wake of President Trump's Second Amendment executive order, this issue is obviously important to the administration, and removing anti-gun bureaucrats like Eisenbise is key to protecting the constitutional rights to a firearm. Now thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with GOA's latest fights for your rights.